Hey friends, welcome back to your Good Life Now podcast. I am Frankie Martinez, and I want to thank you for checking out this podcast. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. I'm sure you will be encouraged and inspired to live your good life now. If you missed last week's episode, I'd encourage you to go ahead and check it out. I interviewed my youth pastor, Chuck Ream, and we had a very fun interview with a lot of great insight and wisdom there too. So I encourage you to check that out. But today I have a word for you, what I believe is a word from God for you. And it was a word from God to me, and I want to share it because I believe God is saying it is for you who are listening to this podcast. So what I want to share with you is this. Here is the word for you. Your wilderness season is over. I say it again. Your wilderness season is over. So I'm going to tell you how I came up with that word and what God put in my spirit and what he is speaking to you. So I ordered some books from John Bevere, great author, speaker. His family's great. His sons have a great ministry. I think it's called Sons and Daughters, great books. His wife, Lisa Bevere, is amazing. Anyway, so I ordered a couple books from him, and he sent me this book for free. Little card says a special gift from you, from John. So thank you, John Bevere, for this book. So this is a book. It's called God, Where Are You? Finding Strength and Purpose in Your Wilderness. So I look forward to reading this book, checking it out. But as I was getting ready to read it, I saw the title. It says, God, Where Are You? And then, of course, like I said, the subtitle says, Finding Strength and Purpose in Your Wilderness. So as I saw it there one Saturday morning, I was getting ready to get some coffee, and I was saying, should I read this book right now? Because, God always leads me what book to read in the right time. And I read the subtitle again, Finding Purpose in Your Strength and Purpose in Your Wilderness. And then I began to think, am I in a wilderness season? I began to think, Then I began to think, how can I tell if I'm in a wilderness season? So I started to think about it. And you know what I realized? As I was thinking, I'm like, honestly, I don't know if I could remember a season where I didn't feel like I was in a wilderness season. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying my life is horrible. My life is amazing. My life is good. I believe I'm living my good life, and I'm living my good life now. But what I mean is this. As I began to think through the different seasons and experiences of my life, if I really think about it, there was always something going on that felt like a wilderness season. And what I began to realize is at the same time, there's always something going good. So as I began to put it together, I began to realize that life is kind of like jambalaya, okay? Follow with me. Life is like jambalaya. You know what jambalaya is? They get all, I heard originated by them getting the leftovers and putting it together and just making whatever. So when you get some jambalaya, which I've had the privilege of eating it in Louisiana, and man, it is good. But when you get jambalaya, like you don't really know what's in there. There's all kinds of stuff. It could be sausage. You just bite it. Oh, there's a little bit of sausage. You're like, oh, what's that? Wait, what is that I taste? That's a shrimp. Maybe that's some chicken. And so you taste all this mixture of different things in this amazing dish called jambalaya. And I began to think of it like this, because as I was thinking about what defines a wilderness season, and as I realized the different seasons of my life, it's kind of like jambalaya, where sometimes it's just all, what I mean by that is it's all mixed together. It's all mixed up. Everything that's good and bad and or challenging and victorious in life, it's all mixed up together. So sometimes you taste life and you say, oh man, that's some hurt, that's some disappointment, ouch. And then you taste another thing, oh, wait a minute, that's an answered prayer. Oh, maybe there's a challenge, and then there's a struggle, and then there's a victory, and then there's God coming through for you. What I mean is that when I say that I don't think there was ever a time that I wasn't in a wilderness season, I could redefine that by saying in life, there's always something good and bad kind of going on at the same time. What I mean is just because you're struggling in your finances, it doesn't necessarily mean you're in a wilderness season, because your family life could be amazing. And just because you may be struggling in your family life, but your health is amazing, does that mean you're in a wilderness season? Or maybe it's vice versa. Maybe you're struggling in your health, but your finances and your family are amazing. So what I'm saying is if you look at it, life is like that. It's just this big mixture of beautiful moments and challenging moments at the same time. And so what I felt in my spirit when I was asking God, am I in a wilderness season? I heard God saying, your wilderness season is over. And when I felt that in my spirit, I knew I had to share it with you because what I believe is it began to change my perspective. What if you're in the season that you believe you're in? Let me say that again. What if you are in the season that you believe you're in? What if what you label a wilderness season could be the greatest season of your life if you change the label? If you stopped calling it a wilderness season. So in reality, you may experience a wilderness season in one area of your life while experiencing a beautiful season in another area of your life. So what does that mean? It means just because one area of your life may not be flourishing, it doesn't necessarily mean you're in a wilderness season. What if, check this out, what if it's all perspective? What if you're in the season that you believe you're in? What if what you're labeling a wilderness season right now could be the greatest season of your life if you changed the label, if you stopped calling it a wilderness season and called it an amazing season? Now follow with me. I'm not saying just being hopeful and denying reality because that's not what this is about. In reality, you may experience a wilderness season in one area of your life and at the same time be flourishing in another area of your life. And why is this important? This is so important because just because you're not flourishing in one area of your life, it does not mean you're in a wilderness season. And why is that important? Because what you label is going to determine your perspective, and your perspective will determine your expectation, and your expectation will determine your life. In other words, if you are looking at one area of your life that may not be flourishing and you're saying, well, I'm in a wilderness season because this area is not as where it should be. Well, guess what happens? Because you labeled it that, now your perspective is following that. Your expectation is following that. You're expecting, I'm in this wilderness season, I need to get out. And so what happens? It's determining a different course of your life now because now you're looking for different things. You're seeing different things. And at the same time, because you're seeing a wilderness season, guess what? You are missing out on your moment. Which moment? The moment that you're in, the moment that you're experiencing right now, which could be beautiful in a different area of your life. Don't let, because you're struggling in one area of your life, cause you to miss out on the beautiful moments that are passing you by, because this is the only chance you get to experience those beautiful moments. This moment that you have, let's say, for example, your finances. Just because your finances are struggling, don't let that label you a wilderness season because your family life could be amazing. Your health is great. Your other things could be amazing in your life. Or just because maybe, I don't know, maybe your family's struggling. Don't let that miss out on the beauty that God has blessed you with a beautiful career and your finances are booming and your health is strong. Now you definitely want to improve the areas that are struggling, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're in a wilderness season. And this is so important because I don't want you to label your season. And I felt that's what God was telling me when I asked him, when I saw this book title, and I started saying, God, am I in a wilderness season? And he said, no, your wilderness season is over when you say it's over. Wow, that's so amazing. You know why? Because in the Bible, one of the names of God is Emmanuel, God with us. And if God is with you, you're not in a wilderness season. If God is with you, life is good. All things are working for your good. And if you really believe that, if things are really working for your good, if things are really working to further you, for your benefit, man, we should trust God and smile and say, I trust you, God. You are with me. Do you realize that when Jesus was separated from the Father on the cross, he was separated from the presence of God so that we would never be separated from God's presence? So that means if God is with us, we can know that we are in a blessed season, that God is for us and not against us. And man, if we have that perspective, we'll begin to look for that. We'll begin to look, how are you with me, God, in this season? You see, shift your perspective and start looking for where God is, because he's with you right now. He will never leave you or forsake you, the Bible says. So if God is with you, if he never leaves you or forsakes you, then look for it. Don't let one struggle or area of your life permeate your whole life and determine your whole life, your whole perspective, because it'll cloud your perspective and it'll cause you to see the negative and to see things that aren't. But if you change your perspective, then you'll begin to see things the way God sees them. Isn't that what happened in Joseph's life? Joseph, I love his story. I talk about it all the time. One of my favorite stories in the Bible. He was able to go from being sold as a slave into the pit, into the prison. And what does the Bible say? If you read the Bible, his story, every season says that God was with him and gave him favor. So when God is with you, wherever you're at, it could be an amazing season of flourishing and blessing and favor. And that's what I want for you. So I am telling you, your wilderness season is over. When you're in a wilderness season, what are you doing? You are waiting for breakthrough. You're waiting for breakthrough. You're waiting for, what is a breakthrough? When you are in your wilderness season, you are waiting for breakthrough. And what is that? For something to come and change this cycle that you're in, this pattern, this rhythm to change. Well, breakthrough happens when you shift your perspective and realize that God is with you right now. Breakthrough happens when you say it happens. Why? Because you are the breakthrough. You are the breakthrough. Come on. I encourage you with that. Your wilderness season is over when you say it's over. Your wilderness season is over when you say it's over, when you say it's over to the point that you believe that you are your breakthrough. You are the one that's going to shift your perspective to see the truth of the Bible. And this isn't positive psychology. This is biblical truth, because God is with you. God is for you. It's working for your good. And if you believe that you can face the storm and know that you're overcoming it, you can say to the mountain, move. And if the mountain doesn't move, then you know it's because it's the mountain to get you to a better place. So God is for you. God is with you. You are the breakthrough. Own it. Receive it. I'm telling you, my friends, your wilderness season is over. Celebrate. Rejoice. God bless you guys. I look forward to seeing you next week. Cheers to your good life.
When you living that good life. I'm just living that good life. I'm just living that good life. I'm just living that good life. Good